Camel's got he's got the power to get in here.
Yeah.
But let's see here. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Meanings of the Zoo. I'm your host, Johnny Hellcat, and with me today is FAR again.
Yeah, hi. I got a dad to do something very dumb.
So yeah, let's see. Let's make it bigger.
Yeah, and biggen me. And biggen me with my Bepis on my chest. The whole thing is just fucking ridiculous. Like, this is the attraction site. 1 minute, I can move.
Oh
over.
yeah,
That's fine.
We can.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Let's see if we can do
this.
this.
Get that attraction sign in there.
That doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I can move stuff around as need be. Yeah, it was like this is like, I realized that you could it was coming up as an option as a webcam, and I went, hey, Platty, my dear and lovely wife, this is an option. Do you dare me to do this? And here I am. I'm not one to back out. I'm not a coward.
And in doing that, I have messed up my own layout.
I apologize for nothing. I apologize for
oh no,
nothing.
that's definitely on me.
This is hilarious. Oh god, so if you're gonna keep it like that, I can move the attraction side back. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll keep it as it is until we can decide how we're gonna do things.
Yeah, this is fine. Like, this is just a joke, mostly, to be honest, and for my own amusement.
Yeah.
Because I find it hilarious that my little Spondy here would be even talking about Chris Chan. Because this is with Bepis bouncing on her chest.
So I think last we left off.
Yes. So we got through all of the preamble, which should not have taken that long. I am still so sorry for that, by the way.
Oh, I could have figured it was gonna take that time.
Yeah, I did not intend for it to take so long, to be quite honest with you. If I don't really want to say, like, blame people for this, because it's not really a blame thing, right? It's just, again, reality of it all. But partially because it kept getting a little bit sidetracked into other things, that, it really should not have taken that long. But again, whatever. It's Chris Chan. It's gonna take a while if you want to get a full-on...
It's not a light read.
Right? It's... There's a 70-plus part documentary out there waiting for you. And I'm trying to fucking condense that shit. Like, this is a task.
I'm horrified to think about that. Like, it's...
Yeah, it's to be...
No, are they like...
Now, to be fair to the documentary, right? Quite a bit of it is, and the reason why it lasts so long in, like, the 2009, like 2007 to 2009 era, which is like the golden age of Chris. It's, and this is also why I think a lot of why he became so well documented, to be quite honest with you. It's because when he started getting trolled, they were recording everything, like all the way down to oh god, we didn't even talk about this one. When he went on a date with Emily at the mall, and he got intercepted by the man in the pickle suit.
Oh,
yeah, you heard me right.
That is...
Yeah, that whole interaction is fucking recorded, and it's an audio recording, but it's still recorded, right? So you hear, like, everything, like, from Emily... setting up briefly to her meeting Chris and his dad, because his dad accompanied him. Of course, Bob did, right?
Oh.
And you hear in the recording that Bob charming the shit out of Emily. It's like, Dude, you didn't even need the fucking pickle man to come by, right? You didn't even need a man in a pickle suit to come by and steal the girl from Chris. His dad was doing a great job of it. So yeah, you hear that, you hear Emily like basically trying to leave near the end of it. It's like the signal, I guess, of like yeah, time for the pickle man to come out.
So
Yay,
was the
and,
whole
like,
thing there kind of a setup, or is it like...
Yes. Oh yeah, no, the whole
okay.
thing was a fucking setup. Yeah, Emily was a troll. She's still on Kiwi Farms under the name Love You Long Time. No, I'm not shitting you.
Nice.
Yeah, so, and she stuck around, actually. She, oh god, yeah, the fucking Emily, man. She...
I believe that is Pepsi, not Pepsi.
Yeah, it is Beppis. It is Beppis, my good sir.
Beppis.
I am balancing Beppis on my chest here. God, this is fucking dumb. But anyway, so Emily kind of stuck around after that, but she took on a different name. I forget the name that she took on, though, but it kind of adds to the whole thing, the theory, I guess, that a really strong theory, though, that Chris just has facial blindness, which you kind of see with a lot of his early interactions with people trying to pretend to be a girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Blanca is a fantastic fucking example of that, actually. Blanca was like the first one where they pretty much the first fake gal pal, and they kept like whoever was running that particular troll, they kept sending different pictures of just different girls, right? And saying they were all Blanca, right? Just I guess it was just to see how fucking dumb Chris was, right? And it turns out, in this case, it might not be that he was dumb. It might have just genuinely been, well, he just couldn't tell the difference. Because that is a thing with some autistic people. They just have facial blindness. Like, it's a known thing, and he might be one of them. You know?
I think I saw it on a, you know, take it for what it is. I saw it on a TV show. They referenced like substitution blindness, where
blindness.
Where like you'll be talking to someone and then look away and then look back and you'll still think like you'll be talking to the same person.
Okay. So like the kid following a parent and thinking it's like the parent, and like it's some completely different scenario, sort of thing, right?
Yeah, except for like when he turns back, he still thinks that that person
it's
that
the
he's
same
following
person.
is the same person. So yeah.
Yeah.
Except for there's no connection saying, oh, like this is someone completely different. Like it never happens.
Yeah, that's a lot of Chris interactions, honestly. Quite like just legit. He is very much or at least early on. I'm not sure if he still is, but I really would not be fucking surprised, to be honest. Because he changes, but he doesn't really change in the fundamentals, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that sounds a hell of a lot like Chris. Like, but yeah, like, again, Blanca's just a great fucking example of that. But Emily is kind of too, though, of just this complete fucking unawareness of like he's just either talking to the same person or not talking to the same person, because Emily, she comes back as like someone else, and like she sticks the fuck around after this incident, and she like takes him out to like bars with another friend, and they go like drinking and do drunk karaoke, which is hilarious considering how anti-drinking Chris was. Like, he was anti all the fun things, right? Like, smoking a cigarette in Quickville? Nah, that'll get you a fucking prison sentence. Unironically. Like, just all these things, right? She'd take him out. She friended him on Facebook. Kim Wilson, that's the name. That's the fucking name that she went by. Kim Wilson. And it even got to the point of, like, during Liquid Chris, right? So Casey comes to visit him, right? And
Casey is
she
Liquid
comes.
Chris.
No, Casey is the girlfriend of Liquid Chris, right? Like she's the one that they're supposed to be fighting over at a certain point, right? Chris pretends that he is Liquid Chris to like he pretends he is Liquid Chris to like try and get Casey. That goes about as well as you think it would.
Yeah.
Yeah, not well at all, honestly.
No.
But at one point though, during this whole thing, Casey visits. She visits with Kim, and something like it's a recorded conversation in this one bit, right? Where like they're talking. I think they're talking about the visit, right? And Casey says like, "Oh yeah, Emily. Oh, no, I meant Kim. Oh yeah, I think you meant Kim." Like Chris responds to it like, "Yeah, I think you meant Kim." And it's one of those moments where you're like, Chris, are you aware that this is the same, like Kim is the same woman that went on a mole date with you in a bucket hat and got stolen by the pickle man?
And the dad,
you know? Yeah, yeah, right. Like you got cucked by your dad and a man in a pickle suit. That's not many people can say that, can they? But yeah, but it was just one of those moments where you're listening to it like, oh, what, Chris, buddy, come on, are you for fucking real? Just you get what I mean? Like it was just such a fucking odd thing to hear, and confirmation too. I guess they're like, yeah, this is the same person as Emily. But yeah, he just, despite like hanging around this girl for so long and having been on a date before under a different name, yeah, he just doesn't recognize her. So fucking facial blindness or something. Like it there's something going on there, right?
Yeah.
Like there has to be, like, because that's just fucking beyond, you know? But I have found the Blanca article though, because just a great demonstration of just this, right? It really is Blanca. Because these are all just, sorry, I did not prepare this because I did not think we would actually go over this, or I would have so much free reign because no one is here.
Yeah, we're underprepared for this one.
Yeah, I was overprepared for the last one, and I'm underprepared for this one. That's heh. All right. All right. Just screen. We'll go screen 2. I am sorry about this. Alright. So, it's just the easiest way for me to show this, right? So, this is the original picture of Blanca. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, this is, you know, she's jumping in the air with the guitar. She's, you know, very happy there, right? Alright, this is also Blanca, apparently. Okay, like, they look kind of similar, right?
It's relatively... I could think that it's the same person.
Yeah, right. And then, this is also Blanca.
Yeah, that's not Blanca.
Yeah, right? Like, that's not Blanca, right? Like, these are two very different people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the skin tones are different, the hair is just wildly different. Like, if we look at, like, where she's smiling there, the smile is even different, you know? Like,
yeah.
It just completely different. This is also Blanca, apparently.
That looks more like the third picture than the first.
Right. But, and again, it's like, even then, like, they kind of don't really look, like, they look similar, but
not the same, yeah.
No, like, there's still a difference there where you're like, these are two different people. So in total, Blanca has 4 faces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, come on. Come on. You know, like, it's just like Chris is just, yeah, he has facial blindness of some kind. He has to. There's no fucking way he doesn't. Just looking at that. You know, like, it's just fucking ridiculous how...
The cognitive capabilities are definitely not there.
Yeah, and again, this is shit where you're like... You have to wonder, like... What would have happened if someone had actually successfully cut down Chris's internet? Actually pulled an internet lumberjack proper? Probably would have been one of the best things to ever happen to him, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, that never fucking happened, right? So...
That plug should have been pulled a long time ago.
Oh, it should have been fucking pulled while I was in high school. You know? Or even, like, in college, like, or before.
Have a good night, Mesh.
Yeah, good night. But, yeah, just, it should... Like, these things should never happen, but they did. Here we are. There's a whole encyclopedia of knowledge about this man out there for you to peruse at your pleasure.
Who then requested it to be taken off by the internet.
Yeah. I want everything about my house off the internet. Yeah, because that's how it works. God damn. So, I guess, because I've already covered, like, last time, right? Like, the beginnings, you know? And that was what I really wanted to just establish. After this point, it's kind of like, whatever the fuck. What do you want to hear about?
Let's see here. I have a sort of list here.
Okay. Oh, she's freaking out because I'm drinking tea. All right. Good to know that issue is still there.
There is a thing here called Love Quest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Love Quest. So the Love Quest is all-encompassing, and it only ever ended because of obvious events at the end.
Oh, so this is present.
Present?
This is present, more present than previously.
Oh,
what we spoke about. So this is
the
later on in the
Quest.
timeline.
No, the Love Quest is all-encompassing. So the attraction sign you see right next to me, right? That's a part of the Love Quest.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the attraction sign is like one of the ways he tried to go on his love quest. Basically, the Love Quest is him trying to find a boyfriend-free girl that'll take care of him, as if like she's his mother. Because if I read off what was on the sign, which I still have in my notes here. God, I love how I broke down the fucking attraction sign as a full-on note. So some of the things he has is his requirements, right? And this is key to understanding, like, what he was actually looking for. So he was looking for a 21 and single white. That was him, right? And he's these are his descriptions, blah blah blah. And he's looking for an 18 to 21 years of age girl at the time of this sign. He would progressively, as time went on, and he would update the sign. Because, yeah, he updated the sign.
I didn't need to see that.
Yeah.
I have found Surf Shack Tito.
Oh, you found Surf Shack Tito. Yeah, we can get into him in a moment if you want, because that's hilarious. So he's looking for an 18-21 girl as of the original attraction sign, but he would raise the age whenever he would make a new one. He did stop making them, thankfully, because I think Barb got through to him that, yeah, this is kind of like on the edge of prostitution in a weird way.
Unpaid prostitution.
Yeah, so I guess she got through to him and like saying like it makes you kind of whorish, and so he stopped. Eventually, keep that in mind. Eventually, because there's a couple of iterations of the attraction site. This is just the easiest image to find of it. So yeah, he's looking for 1821, although the upper range of that gets updated, as I've said. Average to slender weight / body type, white, lives in Charlottesville or Ruckersville. Charlottesville or Ruckersville area, does not smoke or drink alcohol, happy, positive personality, average / high income. Drives a vehicle. The part of in there being average / high income. He's not looking to work.
Yeah. Which means
you can very easily just see that from the way he behaves. The fact that the one job he had at fucking Wendy's, he all information about that, it's he was not exactly a model employee. He would just slack the fuck off all the time, and he ended up getting fired because it's a little unclear, but the general story goes that he was fired because he managed to distress a child so much that the child ended up crying. And the way I fucking wish I was kidding about this. The reason why the kid was so distressed was because Chris did a Donald Duck impression.
Really?
And the wild thing about Chris, right? So he's not exactly, as we've discussed, he's not really talented, like, at all, really. He's very, like, you've seen his music, you've seen his art. Yeah, the guy is a fucking mess. But when it comes to this Donald Duck impression, it is one of the only things he just excels at. Like, he can do a Donald Duck impression like you wouldn't fucking believe. It's quite incredible to hear it, actually.
So an actual skill.
Yeah, it's an actual fucking skill that he has, that he just, all he ever did with it was terrify a child and confuse Clyde Cash. Doesn't use it to a great effect at all, but he can do it. But that's his one real job, though, that he's ever really had, and yeah. Not good, right? So there used to be a counter on the quickie, where it was like days since Chris last applied for a job, and when I last saw that, it was like in the fucking thousands of days. Like, it was a ridiculously long time that he just hadn't applied for a job, let alone had one, you know? So yeah, he's not looking for a job, but he is looking for a boyfriend-free girl that has a very high income job.
And he's gonna need to look a lot better than that to land a medium to high income boyfriend-free girlfriend. Yes.
Well, he's gonna need to just be generally not him. Like, you know what I mean, though? It's like, he kind of just... the only way he would get a girl like that is if he just wasn't Chris. And Chris cannot be Chris. Chris just... he has to be Chris. As proven when he fucking tried to, he tried to fool the trolls into thinking, like, oh yeah, no, I'm a troll too. I'm rolling and trolling, and like, he made up this whole like normie persona where like he got these shitty tattoo sleeve, like, you know those fake tattoo sleeves that kids get at like fairs and shit. Yeah, he got like some of those for himself, and he's like got his new hairstyle with these sunnies and shit. And he's like got a guy filming him like walking around the town and be like, yeah, I take care of my elderly parents and I got this job and that job. Yeah, just Yeah, he fucking tried to fool the trolls. He was trolling them the whole time by being a fucking moron on the internet. It didn't work, but the hilarious part about it, it's like, wow, Chris, if you tried, you could probably at least pretend you're not as weird as you are. Because you could still see the criticisms shining through the whole thing, but not. Yeah. But it was still a great act that he put up. Like, again, just if he tried, oh boy, he probably would not have had so many fucking issues. But yeah, that was that. But yeah, like, even when he's trying to pretend to not be Chris, he has to be Chris. So. That'd be the only way he would ever get a high-income girlfriend. You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just, that's a key thing to keep in mind, like, what he's looking for on his love quest. It's basically just Mother 2.0. Like, he's just looking for, another woman to take care of all his man-child needs. Which is why it's kind of, like, this funny twist of fate, almost, just how things ended up. Like, awful. Completely fucking awful.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, God, you look at all the shit leading up to it, and you're like, if this was someone's just fictional story, the amount of people complaining about the foreshadowing, yeah, it would be fucking immense. Holy shit.
It's kind of like putting together a massive puzzle, like a 1,000-piece puzzle. You feel so good about putting that last piece in, and then you realize what the picture is.
Right? Yeah, and then you realize that she came for quick, except it's not Megan, it's Bob. Which, oh god, I didn't mention something about that she came for quick picture, the end result, right? Mm-hmm. Which is also important to note because of how that comes back later on. Fucking hell. So, one of the ways he tried to appease Megan with that picture, right? Because this is, like, the way Chris draws, he has a weird understanding of art, right? Where he believes that, like, all digital art isn't really art for some reason.
So
right?
all digital art is
it's fake. It's
AI
false.
AI generated whatever.
Not even that.
Kinda...
Not even really that. It's just it's a weird thing that, like, some people do actually think, right? Like, yeah, they're digital art, it's not the same as, like, traditional art, and it's like, yeah, it's not the same, but it's not, like, it doesn't take any less skill, you know? But he took, like, it's just a mindset some people do have, right? But Chris took it to the fucking extremes, right? Where he's just, no, I'm better than you because I use Crayola markers to color my shit in. Right, so
Crayola fucking magic.
Crayola fucking magic. So, yeah, so he had this just weird mindset about the whole thing, right? You can really see it with Asperture, which, yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, he doesn't really do digital art. It's all on paper, which is a key thing to understand about Chris, right? And how he preserves his works. So, because he keeps it all in, like, these folders and, like, the little, like, plastic sleeves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually. Unless it's she came for quick, this does not get kept in the same folder. So how he tried to appease Megan after the whole shit show went down, right?
After the how do you put that?
After the breakdown of just social norms that was their relationship, I don't fucking know.
Whatever was there.
Yeah, whatever the fuck was there is gone now, right? Because he drew this and basically implied that if he didn't draw this, he would have raped her. You know, like,
yeah.
You don't come back from that. Nope. There's no coming back from that one. So he basically went, oh yeah, I destroyed the image because it's just a piece of paper, right? And that was pretty much the last anyone really heard of the original image. I mean, you could still go find it, right? Because it's... he scanned it and uploaded it to Encyclopedia fucking Dramatica. Like, yeah, that shit's not going anywhere.
Of all places.
Of all the fucking places, like, that shit isn't going anywhere. So it still exists in a digital form, right? But so yeah, that's the last time you really hear about it in a physical form. Until the financial crisis.
Financial?
Yes. The financial crisis, where he's just selling everything. He's selling his Transformer toys, he's selling used cans of Fanta he signed his name on, he's selling just blankets and shit. Everything has gotta go. 'Cause he's got fucking bills to pay and toys to buy. So
yeah,
so one of the
I was gonna say,
what
bills does this guy have?
Oh, the fucking house mortgage. Yeah, that I can get into that in a moment, but just like, so
okay, my brain's melting on that.
So he starts selling art, like some of his art stuff, right? And one of the things he decides he's gonna sell She Came for Quick on eBay. So, and this is years after the fact, right? And everyone, I guess, when he first went, like, yeah, he put the listing up, they were like, what? What? You know, because last anyone had heard, he'd fucking destroyed it by cutting it up into tiny little pieces. The tiny little pieces he cut it up into was, so, have you ever bought, like, a child's magazine, right? Where they have in there, like, little activities and shit, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, and one of those activities is, like, a cut-out puzzle.
Okay.
Like, you cut out the squares and you're supposed to align them. It's like, yeah, it's a puzzle! Just without the little connector bits.
Yeah. Oh, look, I made
an
owl.
Size?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know the sizes of those squares, right? Like, the general sizes.
Like, oversized to be generous. Like,
yeah. That's the size that he cut up the pieces for of She Came for Quick.
So it can definitely be put back together.
Oh, it can be restored. She Came for Quick can absolutely be fucking restored to its former glory? You want to put it that
I was gonna say, she's gonna say glory, isn't she? Like,
yeah, like, but that's the thing. It's like, and of course this thing got taken down on eBay because eBay doesn't like,
yeah.
eBay really doesn't like you selling porn, and that's pretty much what that is. It poorly drawn porn, but, you know, it's porn. eBay is not a big fan of that at all. If your art if it's artistic nudity, yeah, sure, you could probably get away with it, but if you've ever seen She Came for Quick, if you've ever fucking seen that picture, you know, yeah, you cannot justify that being artistic nudity. It's just straight up degeneracy. You know, like, there's nothing you can say about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he tried to sell it. I forget if it did sell. It probably did. Just knowing how people get about items of Christery. Like, the fucking Sonotsu totem sold. Like, that sold. Someone bought his Amethyst high school ring, and I call it that because that's how he's, like, I think that's how he's actually spelt it before. Right, Amethyst. It's supposed to be an amethyst.
Oh my god, I don't want to look at that. I just want to see if it's sold.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, don't look up She Came for Quick. Don't look that up. If you find it by accident, that's one thing. Don't intentionally look that up. It's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
I just looked up eBay. And
eBay.
Okay. I think we are.
Yeah,
safe.
because his eBay stuff did get taken down eventually, because as all things Chris related, when he's selling them on the internet himself, yeah, his accounts will just get taken the fuck down. It happened with his eBay several times. It happened with Etsy. He can't be trusted to run his own shit. Just because he'll get really into it, right? He'll get really fucking into the whole, yeah, I'm gonna sell my shit on the internet. Buy my shit, people. You know? And then there comes a point where he realizes he needs to send out the things.
Oh,
you know? And
poor
he
Tier.
realizes,
Poor Tier.
yeah, and he realizes he needs to, you know, continuously send things out and provide products and shit like that. Specifically when it's stuff he has to make. Like, he was making Sonchu medallions for a time. Because people wanted Sonchu medallions, I guess. And, he was doing fine for a period of time, right? And then eventually, I guess it got too much for him. Which it doesn't take a lot for it to become too much for Chris. And he just kind of stopped fulfilling orders. And this is the pattern of Chris just selling shit online. Like, he'll do it to a point, and then he'll just stop. And then once he stops, that's when the negative reviews come in. And once the negative reviews come in, that's when the accounts will get suspended or whatever the fuck, and bye-bye whatever account Chris was using. Which is why if you see people, like, if you see stuff of Chris's being sold online now, well, for obvious reasons, it's not really him selling it, right? Like, he's not really able to sell shit right now, right?
Yeah.
But even before he got arrested and all this shit happened, yeah, that's still not really him. It's people kind of working with him, but not him. And he wasn't really getting much of a cut. He was getting like 30% of the money or some shit like that. Where, like, Prater was the group that was doing that, and I think they're still selling shit, actually. It's just, it's debatable whether or not it's actually come from him, because there's no way of verifying it. But yeah, that's the ending of She Came for Quick, though. Like, it got posted because it was still salvageable. So he didn't really fucking destroy it. And he didn't really seem to give that much of a shit about Megan, if that's how he was trying to appease her.
Okay, so the Sonic Totem has apparently been sold for $1,500.
Yeah, that sounds about right. People, when it comes to Chris, are willing to spend obscene amounts of money. Like, I think the Amnifest ring, like, sold for like $500 or $1,000. Like, something fucking ridiculous. Like, the default prices Chris tends to put on stuff is like 100, 500, 1,000. And he's encouraged to do that because people are willing to buy things at those prices for some reason. Because it's from Chris. It's part of Christory. And people want that chunk of Christory, which is just like...
Well, there aren't a lot of totals on here, but let's see here. Manchester High School Lego building. That sounds like it's sold for 1,000.
Yeah, probably.
And this is all based off of the Relics of Fail section on the...
Yeah, the Relics of Fail. Yeah, that... Oh, God. Was it the melted one or the redone one? So I think you redid that after the house fire.
Let's see here. It doesn't mention it.
Alright, yeah. I mean, it probably doesn't matter ultimately. Like, either way, it's his recreation of Manchester High, but yeah. Oh god. But yeah, like, that's... So, a big reason why he was selling his shit, though, right? It was... So... Bob dies, right? Alright?
Okay.
And a part of that is... I mean, he's old, right? So, yeah, getting close to his time, right?
As that happens.
But yeah, but another part of that is, and I swear this is leading up to the whole why they're selling everything now. So the other part of why he dies is bed bugs, if I understand correctly. Like, they had to, when he was brought in to the hospital initially, they had to quarantine him. Because, yeah, they were living in just a hoarder's paradise, you know? Not the most hygienic situation.
No.
So they had to, like, quarantine him and all this shit, right? And he, ends up dying. And this is where Chris kind of goes off the internet, not permanently, but he definitely he's not as active, right? Which is for the best. Like, it's sad that it took Bob dying for this to happen, and it doesn't even last that long, but, it happens, right? He's not online as much. Thank God. Not that far after this happens, right? The funeral happens, yada yada yada. Chris tries to go back to the game place where he is very much banned, and the last time he went here, it is actually recorded because he recorded the audio himself, and there is a funny little there's 2 actual animations that people have done to this, right? Like South Park style of Chris going in trying to get himself unbanned. And the whole interaction just ends with Chris walking out of the store, and this is allegedly according to him, right? Like the actions he took. Like, we know what he said.
Yeah. Because
he recorded it and posted it himself. Keep that in mind as I say that, right? He walks out of the store, pulls the finger, right, at Michael Snyder, the guy that now owns, he's the manager of the game store, right? The game place. Pulls the finger at him and just says, Jew.
What?
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, it is audio recorded. He posted this himself. And he's calling him a Jew as a just obviously some kind of fucking haha gotcha, and walks out the store. But apparently he's like, but according to Chris, he's like, giving him the finger and going like, yeah, Jew. And it's like, what the fuck, Chris? What the fuck? So that was like the last time he was at this place, where he is very much banned. No one wants him here. Yeah. After Bob dies, he and Bob, yeah, right, Dr. Like, yeah, you really want to feel bad for Chris, you really do, but you can't. There's times, the further along in his life you go, you just cannot feel sorry for the guy. Yeah, again, like, the blah blah blah, he and Bob are driving past the game place, right? And they see a sign on that says, oh, under new management. Basically, someone's bought the game store, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do these people think? What does this go through their minds, right? Oh, that must mean I'm unbanned. Yeah, let's go to the game place. Yeah, I'm unbanned now. Cool, I can do all my Pokemon tournament shit again. Turns out no. No, he's very much still banned.
They handed the keys.
All that's happened is now Michael Snyder owns the game place. He's not just the manager now. He owns that shit. And God, yeah, like, and it's just, it goes about as well as you would expect.
Just
yeah, Chris cannot come back in. Yeah, and so the next few events go like this, basically, right? And I'm kind of just going. I'm trying to think of how to phrase, like, how to say this, right? So they go out to the parking lot, right? And I guess Michael Snyder's followed them out for some reason, right? I guess he's like trying to make sure that they get the fuck off the property, right? Because it has been, again, like, it's been established in the past. Chris has been an issue. There was another incident where he came in, again, still banned, before this particular one, right? Where he was drunk and he was like trying to take pictures of Schneider to print them out and put them on a wall so he could fire a Nerf gun at it. You know,
as one does.
Yeah, as one does. You know, Adam Stackhouse style, right? Because that's what he did for Adam Stackhouse. Yeah, like, gets kicked out there and gets the cops called on him and everything. So, yeah, so he really just wants them off the property, right? And this leads to Chris hitting Schneider with his car.
What?
And then somehow in this little scuffle they've gotten themselves into, Chris getting out of the driver's seat, Bob getting into the driver's seat, and Chris getting into the passenger seat, and then Bob hitting Schneider with the car.
Now you see, son, this is how you do it right.
Yeah, thankfully it's not like they hit him like so hard he got like fucking injured or something like that, but still, you know, like, this is holy shit, you two, like, this is just fucking assault at this point, right? Like, and obviously the cops get involved, charges kind of get pressed but kind of not, like, they end up going to court over this, and this is just the first of many court cases for the two of them. So yeah, of course, Chris is, you know, still banned. So it turns out Bob. And remember how I mentioned
that strike's not going to do him any favors.
No, it's really not, right? So remember how I mentioned Bob had all those patents under his belt, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out he actually left both of them quite the inheritance. So they had, at this time anyway, quite a lot of money. And now they're in court. So what does Bob decide to do with all this money? Hire an expensive as fuck lawyer and just piss all the money away.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah, so they don't have any of that inheritance left after going through continuance hell, because that's usually what if you ever look at Chris's court stuff, that's usually what happens when you just look at all the like, just all the shit for it is just continuance. But it's very rare for them to actually do something on a scheduled court date for Chris, for whatever fucking reason. I don't really get why, but it's yeah, even now with this court stuff, you'll notice that it's a continuance after continuance, and yeah, they just piss all the money away. So no more money, no more inheritance money, and it ends up so after this, like, life goes on for a bit until the house fire, where Chris has plugged in a Keurig machine into the bathroom, and something about that starts a fire, and because, again, Hoarder's Paradise, the whole place just goes up in flames.
Yeah, that doesn't make for a good. No.
Yeah,
that
it's
house
just a
is
tinderbox.
gone.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, right? So there was apparently enough of the house remaining where they could rebuild her. They could make her stronger, basically. Right? So it gets repaired, and they move to a temporary home while that's getting all repaired, right? And they eventually move back, so yeah, the house is still there. And it's just fixed, and they go back to turning it into a hoarder's paradise once again. Now, keep in mind, right? So at this time, the inheritance has been all pissed away. They've had a house fire, and now Barb wants to build back up her hoard of just useless shit. So they're kind of strapped for cash, right? What do you do when you're strapped for cash?
Sell stuff?
Well, before you sell stuff, you get a loan. She mortgaged the house. And as it stands, even at the time when she initially mortgaged the house, everyone looking in on this who found that out, it was kind of just understood that there is no way Barb is ever paying that off. There is no way Chris is ever paying that off. There is no way anyone in that family is paying that off, because no one wants to talk to Barb or Chris. No one in that family does. They are the fucking just the black sheep of the family.
Now, I'm gonna guess, just by looking at pictures of Barb, that she is not all there.
Yeah, no one really knows for sure. That's kind of the big issue of the whole thing, right? Of did she consent or not, right? Like, just go into end game shit here, I guess.
Dragon time.
Because the build up to it, right? There's a lot of videos of, like, and again, this is all financial crisis here, right? So after, like, the house mortgage stuff, right, and, like, they go, okay, yeah, we need to sell our shit now, right? Chris puts out a hell of a lot of e-begging videos, basically. It's the only thing to describe him as. It's e-begging. And in some of these videos, it's not just Chris going, like, yeah, buy our shit, buy it now. It's him shoving the camera in his mum's face and going, hey, Barbara Chandler, tell everyone what we have on our eBay store. And gotcha. if you see these videos and you see the way that she's acting in them, you have to wonder, is she all there? You know, like, because what you have to understand about Barb is that she's very manipulative. And you can see that, like, just through all parts of Chris's life, right? Just how fucking manipulative this woman is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she marries Bob because he has a house. That's it. That's legitimately the reason she gives. It's like, he had money and he has a house. Top, just standards, Bob. Standards, wow. She threatens to kill herself a lot when Chris is, like, wanting to go somewhere without her. Like, and I don't mean just, like, going to the local Macca's and back, right? I mean shit like, he wants to go out of state to some convention. Like, shit like that, where he's an adult, as much as he doesn't act like one, he's an adult.
Yeah.
If he wants to go out of state for a convention, he's allowed to, Bob. But again, like, she'll threaten to kill herself over that. just shit like that. Like it's a common thing with Barb that she will just manipulate the fuck out of everyone so she has her way. And so it's kind of unclear as to what's going on in these videos. Is she actually like just this fucking out of it where she's like, you know, she just looks like a shell of her former self, or is she hamming it up for the camera? Like, it's a shitty thing to even have to guess, right? Or even contemplate, but it's like, well, it's kind of what she's turned it all into, right? Because she's just that manipulative. She's that much of just a piece of shit that it becomes very, very hard to tell the difference between her being real and her manipulating. But yeah, like all throughout it, there's these videos of her being like, just, it's haunting, some of these videos. And as it builds up to, you know, D-Day, right?
Yeah.
To the happiest Mother's Day ever beheld. Yeah, it's very hard to tell just how lucid she is. And it's... I don't know. I would not be able to tell you, because I cannot make my mind up one way or the other. I used to be in the camp of like, yeah, she's faking it, you know? But then this happened, right? And it's like... Yeah. Well... You know, like, Barb is a lot of things.
I will be right back. My dogs are barking at the...
Oh, okay. I am alone then. Cool.
One moment.
Alright. Okay, but yeah, Barb is a lot of things, but would she be willing to let her own son, you know, like, would she be willing to pull an Oedipus? I don't know. I feel like even with Barb and how weird some of like their relationship is, like that's a bit far. That's a bit far even for Barb. You know? But that's also where I think that's also where some of the why it's taking so long with some of the court stuff, because it's hard to tell, right?
Well, there's only so much faking someone can do before.
No, there is, and that's the thing. It's a hard thing to even, like, you know what I mean? It's very hard to just go one way or the other, because we don't really know enough about what's going on there. Like, is she actually just that far gone or what? But if all of it is true, right, like, and that wasn't her faking it in those videos, that means she's been on the mental decline for, oh god, at least since 2016. At least. Probably longer. But I think that's like when like the height of him selling shit was going down. I might be wrong on that, but at least since then. You know, so again, who knows how much she is there, but yeah, the moral of the story, just don't trust Barb with money. Or Chris. Don't trust Chris with money. Don't trust Chandlers with money.
Yeah, if their last name is Chandler, don't.
If their last name is Chandler and their first name is not Bob, yeah, don't trust them with money. But, yeah, that's, yeah, I told you it had something to do with him selling shit, right? But yeah, that's why that was so intense with selling shit, though, because like they have this mortgage going on and like bills to pay and shit, and like they'd run through all of their inheritance money, just all of it. And
Yeah, that's a good point you keep bringing there. Don't trust Chris with your mom.
Yeah, don't trust Chris with anything. But yeah, so as a result, right, like of just them having no money, this, that, and the other, it just results in, well, what do we do for making money? You start selling shit, boy. But the problem with that, though, again, it's just what I was saying before, how Chris starts off well, and then he just stops fulfilling orders, which just leads to his accounts getting shut down. And it's not even just him selling shit too, it's Patreon, because he had a Patreon, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and oh my god. So that fucking Patreon, right? I remember looking at it, right, and not even intending to like go give him money, because no, don't give Chris your money. Look at me. Don't give Chris your money.
Look at the Peppers can. Listen to the Peppers can.
Look at me. Look at the cartoon. Going about your screen. I'm telling you something important, kids. Whatever the fuck you do, don't give Chris your money. So yeah, so I'm like looking at his Patreon, intending absolutely not to give him money because I'm not fucking insane. Just because it's like, well, Chris has a Patreon. What is he offering? Like, what the fuck is he offering on this thing, right? He's offering to send you printed issues of the Sonichu comics. And it's like a monthly thing. Now, the problem with this, though, right? Like, okay, interesting idea, right? What happens when he inevitably runs out of Sonichu issues to send? You know, because these things are supposed to be like a monthly perk or something along those lines, right? Like, there's supposed to be a continuous thing that you're providing to your patrons.
Yeah.
So they continuously give you money. What happens when he runs out of his Sonichu comics? Because there is a finite number of them that exist.
Well, you can't give me money anyway. I don't have a Streamlabs.
Yeah. Well, I do have a Streamlabs, but I haven't linked it, so whatever. But it doesn't really matter. I don't know how I'd feel if I got money for talking about Chris Chan. Like, fucking hell. I'm doing this for fun, which is sad. But so yeah, just Chris has the most confusing Patreon that I've ever fucking seen. Basically, like that's pretty much the end of the story there. Like, it's him sending out comics, and then I don't know, like, hey, just give me money. I live. I deserve it. That's Chris's Patreon. Like, I have never seen anything like it. Probably because I don't think anyone else would even think of doing something like that, you know? With something where it's like, the only way for you to be able to send more of the shit is to make more of this shit, and he's not doing it. He's not making more Sonichu comics. Not for lack of, probably wanting to, but yeah, he just hasn't for a long time.
I was gonna say she might not be taking Streamlabs, but I'm sure Camel will.
Yeah,
he's got his. I don't think it's out there, but he's got one.
Yeah, oh, has he?
Yeah.
Good for him. But oh god, just look, as long as you don't give money to Chris.
It led to some Bigfoot erotica, and that hoe got roaches in her crib. So yeah, that's where that's where it leads you.
Fucking hell. Oh god, better than people claiming like, oh yeah, you have OnlyFans for feet. That's where mine ended up, apparently. But anyway. God,
So, it is referenced a lot, and so I really don't understand. Because I have literally zero knowledge of the dimensional merge?
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah, the merge, right, yeah, you can't. A part of me was trying to avoid the merge, I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say,
Like,
I know of the merge,
this isn't me, like, going, like, oh, fuck the merge. Like, no, I find the idea of it really fucking hilarious, right? Like, Polly and I have, like, joked about this, like, before, right? Just, the merge is on. Like, he even made, like, a little flashing gif of the merge is on. You know, like, just because the whole fucking idea of the merge is fucking ridiculous. It is... You know those, you know, as a kid, right, when you're playing make-believe and you make up your little imaginary world, right, and you're like, yeah, and then I pop into the world and I'm like the coolest thing ever and I got all these powers and shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're playing this with, like, maybe a group of friends, right? And then you have that one friend that takes it a little too seriously. I was totally not that friend, by the way. But yeah, like, you have your imaginary world, like, you're, like, popping in there, then, like, the one friend that takes it a little bit too seriously, and you start to go, you don't think this is real, do you? Do you? Yeah, that's Chris. That is Chris. So he believed that Quickville, his imaginary little city where he is the mayor, and it's totally not Billy Mays. Yeah, it's Billy Mays. It's totally not the fucking mayor of Quickville or anything like that. I think I got the right guy there for that one. Billy Mays comes in there somewhere. Anyway.
The bearded salesman?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. God, that's so fucking stupid. But so yeah, Chris thinks that Quickville is real, and a way of demonstrating just how real he believes it is the Idea Guys saga, where they managed to extort a shit ton of money out of him by saying, and I shit you not, yeah, we have a laser on the moon and it is aimed at Quickville. If you do not do as we say, we will shoot off this laser and it will destroy everything you love in Quickville. I wish I was kidding. No, that is actually legitimately how the Idea Guys managed to get a ridiculous amount of money off of Chris.
I saw that they're on the list of important people on this on the Quickie.
Yeah, unfortunately they are, because a lot of the stuff where and I'm not just bringing them up as like a, you know, hey, I'm trying to get away from the merge. It's like, no. To kind of understand the merge, you have to understand that Chris was already believing some of this shit before the Idea Guys. Like, he was holding on to that
are these
that
like
belief
the
that, like,
YouTube Idea Guys? Or are they like completely different set of people?
Different.
Okay.
Completely different.
Because I can't see, because the Idea Guys are a pretty popular YouTube group. I can't see them doing this. And
it's just an unfortunate similar name, and they didn't even give themselves the name the Idea Guys.
Okay.
It was Kiwi Farms and, like, people that noticed that shit was going a little wonky with the stuff Chris was putting out.
Gotcha.
So before this, right, Chris did believe to an extent that Quickville was real, but it was just in a different dimension, right? But it's kind of hard to determine just how much he really believed in it, or how much it was just like, yeah, this is for fun, like a kid playing make-believe, like I gave us the example at the start of this, right?
Yeah.
But he was already, you know, had those sorts of ideas in his head before this. So the Idea Guys come along and they start, this is also where, another aspect of Chris comes into it that you see nowadays. The CPU blue heart bullshit. Because these guys introduce him to Hyperdimension Neptunia, and if you've never heard of this, good for you! It's weeb shit.
That is definitely
It is some fucking weeb shit, and I've never played it, but unfortunately, because of Chris, I know too much about it. More than I would like to ever know. Because this shit, like, I like anime, but fuck me. This is more than I would ever want to ever
a step
experience
too far.
Thing. Yeah, like, again, I like anime shit. I like anime as much as the next person, but this is like... I mean, look at me. Look, my little cartoon thing here. It's a personified fucking moon. For fuck's sake, I like personifying things too. Just Hyperdimension Neptunia is fucking personified video game consoles playing out a console war. Like, I fucking wish I was kidding about that. And these guys introduced him to this, and this is where the CPU Blue Heart thing comes from. Why he's like, I'm a goddess. And all this shit, because yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing that popped up from this. And they would
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, the CPU Blue Heart Goddess bullshit. Yeah.
No, the Hyperdimension Neptunia thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's So they started introducing him to all these different ideas, right? Like, including Hyperdimension Neptunia, like, some more successful than others, obviously, right? Some of these things stuck around with him. And through a series of, like, methods where I'm like, why did you put this much work into this, right? Like, because they put a shit ton of work into this. Like, more than you would really ever want to admit to. They managed to, like, really get into his head. Like, yeah, they had the laser on the moon aimed at Quickville. If you don't do this, we will torture, like, one of your Sonitudes. This is where Crizel Sonitude, like, Rositude comes from. If you've seen Crizel.
I saw them on the list of last week.
Yeah, so this is where Crizel comes from, because technically Chris... I'm a bit hazy on this detail, right? I don't think Chris technically even made Crizel. This is another one of those times where someone made something, and Chris took it and went, I made this! But they made Crizel, like, a 16-year-old, and the whole idea behind it was that she was, well, obviously underage, right? And it was supposed to be like a whole thing of getting Chris to admit that he was into underage individuals. Like, that was the idea behind it. And then I think later Chris, because he wanted Crizel to be one of his many spouses. Fuck me. He wanted Crizel to basically be one of his many spouses, so he, like, retconned the age or some bullshit. Like, it's a whole thing, right? So the idea, guys, is where Crizel came from, and they would do a bunch of, like, really just messed up things. And I mean, like, really just fucked up. Like, the extortion of money, they would get him to buy him, like... They would get him to buy them shit like, full-on consoles and things like that. Like, it was all because of, like, if you don't do this, we're gonna tear the arm off Crizel Roastew. Like, just taking advantage of a obviously not very mentally well man. Like, whatever you think of Chris, right? Like, that was the situation. And it eventually ended when like 3 Kiwi Farms users, like, and really high up their members, so Null, Marvin, and I think Marvin was like the original man in the pickle suit that came and won Emily over. and then, like, a guy that's just called the Captain, and they kind of intervened and doxed the shit out of the idea guys, so you can totally go find who these guys are. I'm not saying to do that, but I'm just saying, yeah, if you look into the idea guys, you will see names, you will see home addresses, you'll see phone numbers, because that's how Kiwi Farms operates. Be careful when fucking with Kiwi Farms. but yeah, so they ended up like just full on doxing him, and then just kind of like, this is where it starts to be, okay, yeah, we gotta take care of Chris now. Because he can't do it himself, and there's so many groups trying to take care of Chris. Like, again, later on, Praetor becomes a thing, and they give him like 30% of the money that they're making. While they're taking like the grand lion's share. Just fucking ridiculous shit, right? And then, like, I think the idea guys kind of try to come back, but it's like, dude, did you not fucking learn your lesson? You know, but point is, right, so they fucked him up so badly from all this. And I cannot begin to emphasize just how much effort they put into this. But they made, like, basically audio dramas and sent it to Chris. Of, like, Hyperdimension Neptunia characters getting, like, fucking blown away by machine guns and shit. Like, just ridiculous shit where you're like, why did you put in this much fucking effort into trying to extort an autistic man out of money? Like, just really fucking weird. And the end result is basically, Chris really leaning into the belief of, Quickville and like, just imaginary, like, made-up worlds being real. And he went so far as to, like, he, oh god. So he was really also, like, hyper on Twitter at this point. Like, really hyper on fucking Twitter. And he managed to, tweet at, like, someone that was well known to know about, Marvel shit. And I was, hey, yeah, what is the, name of the dimension, or, like, the real-world dimension in Marvel Comics? And I forget the actual number, but he takes that number and starts applying it actually to this, like, the reality that in which we live.
Mm-hmm.
Then he calls, and I remember this because he just says it so fucking much. He calls the dimension of Quickville C197, and he starts going like, yeah, maybe they'll merge someday, haha, maybe. And I forget if it was really the idea guys that like put the merge in his head or not, but like it wasn't that far after the idea guys that the merge kind of started taking its first or at least the idea of it, he started expressing thoughts on it, right? And as time went on and he started to talk more and more about his obvious delusions, yeah, that's when he started talking about the merge more and more. To the point of where it's like, okay, yeah, Chris, this is a bit much. This is a bit more than a bit more than we were ever thinking this was going to be. And I guess because so with Chris, right, like you can convince him to do a bunch of shit as long as you threaten things, right? But if Chris doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. But if Chris really wants to believe in it, oh my god, he is going to fucking believe the shit out of it. And he obviously wanted the merge to happen. Because just look at the life that he was leading at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was basically transitioning to be a woman because he wanted to add lesbians into his potential dating pool. Like, that, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's pretty much why he became Christine. Like, yeah,
the lesbian sleeping party is there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I mean,
it is, and Chris is a cross-dresser at most, in my opinion. Right? Like, he obviously likes to cross-dress, but yeah, I don't think he's really.
I'll say it like this: for most people that think that there are straw men, Chris is there to prove it.
Yes, absolutely. So, but yeah, like at this point, right, he's got this going on. He's so deluded that I don't even, this is one of those things where it's like, he almost kills himself over this, right? He believes through the power of binaural beats he can grow a vagina.
Because that's how it works, right?
Yeah, and this, wow, like if I had a nickel for every time I've seen like the top tier lolcow think they're growing the opposite genitalia, I'd have 2 nickels, which is weird because it's happened twice. Yeah, so Chris is like the, just to briefly, right, just explain that joke. Chris is like the Adam of lolcows, right? There is an Eve of lolcows. And her name is Pixie Terry, and unfortunately she's a lot less documented. But if you look into her nowadays, yeah, she pulled a Chris basically with the thinking, I'm growing the opposite genitalia. She thought she was growing a penis. So, you know, a little weird it's happened twice with both of the you know, the proto-lolcows, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, both the Adam and the Eve have thought this, but okay.
I gotta say, I'm looking into some pictures here, and talking about the dimensional merge.
Yeah.
Showing here, Chris Warren's downtown Charlottesville of the impending merge on the free speech wall.
Yeah, he's written on that free speech wall a couple of times, and that's probably one of the most deranged, honestly. And that's saying something, because the shit that, you know, Chris writes out in public, right? But yeah, he wrote about the merge on the free speech wall.
Hashtag dimensional merge.
Yeah, but yeah, Chris basically almost killed himself over the vagina thing, though, because then he tried to, make one himself, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter. You don't need to know about the unclit. You don't want to know about the unclit. I live with cursed knowledge every day of what that is. You don't want to know. But the point is, yeah, and you know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. If you know, you don't want to know. You wish to God every day that you could just poof that bit out of your mind.
Yeah, so, I avoided She Comes for Quick, but I got.
Yeah, you cannot. Yeah.
It's a trade-off.
It is. It's some kind of trade-off, isn't it? But yeah, so like he almost kills himself over that one. So yeah, he's living like that. He's having to sell shit all the time. Because they're just, both him and Barb are so just financially irresponsible that it's a constant lack of money situation going on. He's getting like all his, you know, favorite brony commentators, because yeah, he's a fucking brony. He's getting all his favorite brony commentators just blocking him on Twitter and just being like, I don't want to deal with you anymore, Chris. What the fuck? Just, it's a complete mess. It's Chris's life. It's a complete fucking mess. So what does he want? He wants a completely different life. He wants a better life. He wants a life where he can be the mayor of Quickville and he can finish his love quest. And he can, you know, finally have his daughter Crystal and all this shit, right? That's what he wants. And so what does he do instead of trying to just face reality and try and fix whatever the fuck is left of his life? He just full-heartedly believes in the merge. And so he falls further and further into the delusion that someday, yeah, the merge is going to happen and all the OCs that everyone's ever made are gonna, you know, suddenly meet their makers, and like 50% of the world's population is just gonna die. I think it's like 50%.
Oh my god, it's horrifying in person. I have found a picture of Crizel Sonichu.
Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, but yeah, like, so the dimensional mode is basically just Chris's fantasy coming alive, of like him being able to be the mayor of Quickville and all this shit. And the whole time he's like, once he's like really into the delusion, he's like, yeah, it's happening, guys. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. Oh my god, guys, emerge. It's gonna happen. And he keeps giving dates for it and shit. And it's like, Chris, come on.
Do I really want to link this? I don't think I want to link
this. But oh, that's what it's 1218. That's apparently our dimension. And to the horror of the person that he asked that, by the way, they immediately went, "That's just make believe. That's for funsies." After someone pointed out to them, "No, Chris is going to use that to further his delusion."
I will send it to you in Discord. I don't want to taint.
Don't taint the chat with that shit.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah. But the funny thing, like, with the merge, right? So apparently the merge has happened. Right? Because
they're amongst us.
Apparently the merge has happened. So Chris has been sending prison letters, not recently, but he has sent them, right? And in one of these letters, he mentions that he believed the dimensional merge has already happened, and it's like, if the dimensional merge means you're in prison, Chris, sure, buddy. Sure, why not? But that's kind of why you see all the merge jokes, though, because everyone kind of, the merge became kind of like a another term for what happened with Chris and his mother.
Yeah.
Partially as a joke, but partially also because, like, well, Chris already believes that it's happened, right? Might as well. And it's just, that's the joke, right? The merge is on. Because Chris fucked his mother, the merge is on. Like, it just, yeah, the merge is just a fucking weird thing to have to even get into, right? Like, I prefer to just kind of joke around about it, because it's so much easier than having to try and explain what the fuck it is on a deep, like, on any kind of level. Because what I've just said is, like, it's a basic overview of the merge.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, yeah.
The horrors have set in for Devil Fruit Zero.
Yeah, oh, he's just realized. I'm so sorry. But, yeah, like, this is just getting into an overview, right? This isn't even getting into the shit, like, so he made, like, when I say, like, oh yeah, like 50% of the Earth's population is just gonna fucking die in the merge, that's not coming from nowhere. That's coming from his own calculation. I cannot remember if it even is, like, 50%, but it was an obscenely high number that he put in there, where he was calculating, like, all this weird shit to do with the merge, and it all ended up resulting in, like, what percentage of the population he believed would die when the merge happened. And, yeah, like, again, this isn't even getting into any of that shit, because it's so fucking bonkers. And there's other shit that you could talk about where it's infinitely, just as confusing, but at least a little bit funnier than what the merge really is. You know, like, the merge is funny just as a thing to say, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But once you start getting into, like, the depths of it and, like, what it is, it's just kind of like, Oh boy, it just really shows how scarily deluded Chris became. Like, he was already delusional in the sense of, like, he thought that he was this talented person that everyone should bow down to.
Yeah, see last week's rap battle episode.
Yeah, like, that's one kind of delusion. It's a whole other level when you start going into, yeah, my pony OCs are totally gonna merge into this reality.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, that's what it kind of turned into. Yeah, my OC Nightstar with her lover Cunty Nugget, yeah, they're totally going to be a part of this reality. I wish I was kidding about that name, by the way. That is the name of that particular pony.
I was just going to ask, Cunty Nugget?
Yeah. It ended up being changed by Null. Right, but that was an Idea Guys product. Okay. And you'll see a lot of that. Like, there's a reason why when people started noticing shit with Chris, when the Idea Guys thing was happening, there's a reason why they were noticing it, because just some of the stuff that he was putting out was, like, just not... Chris puts out his own kind of weird shit, right? Without, like, anyone needing to prompt him. Like, his belief that you could just spray yourself with Axe body spray, and that constitutes hygiene. And then he goes so far as to put, like, an ad for Axe body spray in his Sonichu comics. With, like, the fucking line of, like, Rosechu saying to Sonichu, "May I orbit your belt?"
May I orbit your belt?
Yeah, I cannot make sense of that line either. It's just fucking like, okay. May I orbit your belt? Right then. So, but sure. You have that going on. You have the honeymoon edition of the Sonichi comics where Chris finally marries one of his gal pals, Ivy. And like, they go into the hotel room, there's like 5 Glade air fresheners plugged into the walls.
Oh, that's too much.
Because apparently that's just romantic.
Oh, my wife just came home, so.
Ah, okay. But and then you have like the shit of oh god, what else? Like, just a bunch of shit, basically, right? Like, Chris does his own shit, is the point. And the Idea Guys, they started, like, because of like the shit they were feeding him, became very obvious that someone was feeding him ideas. Like, Chris never really delved into stuff like Nazism in his comics before, but once the Idea Guys came on the scene, oh, he sure as fuck did.
He's seems very manipulatable.
Oh yeah, like, he's
malleable,
very
I guess would be the way to put it.
Yeah, like, again, Chris. There is a good example. Like, I'll say that after though. But there is a good example of like Chris doing as a troll asks, but not really at the same time. Which is where you get the whole Chris will do what you ask him, but not in the way you want him to thing. Like, if he really doesn't want to do something, he will do his damnedest to try and not do that while trying to please the person in question. And so, yeah, he'll do what you want, but not really at the same time. It's Chris does what Chris wants.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, though, like, so while Chris does what Chris wants, he is also very oh god, what's the word for it? Like, so the reason he really likes My Little Pony is not because he suddenly, like, saw the newer, like, this brand new My Little Pony cartoon, was like, yeah, I love it. No, he was a brony technically before that, before bronies were really a thing, because Megan liked My Little Pony. And so he picked up My Little Pony from Megan before any of the brony shit went down. Same goes for Sailor Moon. He didn't like Sailor Moon. He probably didn't even know what Sailor Moon was, but Megan liked Sailor Moon. So because Megan liked Sailor Moon, he picked up Sailor Moon, and that became a part of the parts of the Sonichu comic, funnily enough. And on it goes, right? Like, so he'll, like, the blatant racism in his poster where he's like, your blacks need not apply for my attraction sign, right?
Yeah.
Probably came from either Bob or Barb, because, yeah, the generation, right? And it's fucking Virginia.
I will have Dr. Funkenstein know that your boy Pat's a brony. he will die. He's a flag carrying brony,
yeah, like,
and he will stand by that.
Like I feel about bronies like the same way I feel about furries. I don't generally have a problem with them, but at the same time, police your fucking communities better. Holy shit. If you do not want people calling you degenerates, don't let degenerates get so much fucking power in your communities.
Yep.
You know, like, it's just, yeah, don't fucking do that. I'm sure there's great bronies out there, as I'm sure there's great fairies, but oh my god. Fuck me. Like, you guys do seem to have a tendency of protecting weirdos that really should never be protected. But this is not a fairy or brony stream. This is a Chris stream. Yeah, and my point is, like, Chris picks up things. Right? Like, he'll pick up things like the racism, the traditional gender roles things, the ponies, Sailor Moon, like, all this shit, just because, like, he sees it and, like, other people liking it, and he's like, yeah, I'll like that. And it just, some of it just kind of sticks with him. And so, yeah, like, but some of it will just stick with him, and, but the thing is, you can kind of, like, as he got older, some of it stuck with him, some of it didn't, like, and it's kind of why, Hyperdimension Neptunius is a thing with him still. Because that was just one of the things he saw, and it just kind of stuck with him for whatever reason. But as much as Chris is a fucking weirdo, and this would not have been his first encounter with Nazism at all, or any of this shit, you know, he would have never put this shit in his comics. Ever. Or, like, drawn it out or anything like that, because that's just not really Chris. Like, yeah, he's drawn, like, ridiculous levels of violence before, but that was, like, he genuinely thought that these people had committed him a wrong. Right? And, like, not to say that was, a good thing for him to do, but that's, like, just a genuine fact there, right? A true and honest fact.
Yeah.
But that's why he put it in there. But this shit is, like, a bit beyond what he would usually go for. And that's what kind of stuck out to a lot of people when they saw the kinds of shit that he started to put out during this, and why it became so obvious that there was someone behind the scenes. And again, the idea guys did not give themselves this name. I don't even really remember if they even gave themselves a name. If they did, it would not have been the idea guys. It would have been something fucking cringier.
Well, I mean,
come on, Praetor exists.
I can certainly see where they got the idea of the name.
Yeah. Oh, so. Yeah. And it was people observing this on the outside who were hanging out on Kiwi farms and all that shit that gave him... Well, they gave these people... because although it is one major guy behind it, there was definitely multiple people. There was a couple of guys doing this, but there was one major player in it. But, yeah, they gave them the name The Idea Guys because... Yeah... They were feeding Chris all these fucking weird as shit ideas, you know? Like, it's the only thing you could really fucking call them and have it make sense. But that's why, though. Like, that's why why they are the idea guys, because it's not like they were part of some YouTube channel. It's just no, it's what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is a descriptor. But got a great way to just, I guess, going back earlier in the timeline, right? A great way to just show Chris will do what you want, but not in the way you want it, is one particular... Oh god, this is one of my favorite just fucking troll moments, right? Because it's just like... It's just so fucking great, because it's just such a classic Chris move. So... Chris's PSN account, it got held hostage a multitude of times, right? And one of the earlier times, one of the trolls were like, alright, like, if you want your account back, you're gonna have to make a video where you come out as gay. And in the early days, Chris was really anti-gay, which just makes it fucking funny where he ended up, right? So, yeah, so that was the ultimatum, right? Chris had to admit that he was gay in a video and post it, and then he would get his PSN account back, right? Simple, right? Only Chris doesn't really want to admit that, so what does he do instead? He does the video, he posts it, and he goes, yeah, I got something to admit to my Sonichu audience. I'm a Gabian. That's right. I'm a Gabian.
Gabian.
Yeah, and he goes on and on about how he's like a Gabian, because he doesn't want to say gay. He doesn't want to call himself like a homosexual, because no, Chris is not a homosexual. I'll have you know, he is not a homosexual. No, he's a Gabian.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and no, but it gets better, right? Like, if it was just that, I'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever, Chris thing, right? No, it's there's layers to this. So, he puts this video out there, right? And then immediately follows it up with another video where he explains the first video by saying, yeah, that was a lie, guys, and you should have known because I left signs in my video, right? And the signs he left, right, of like he's you know, not being true and honest, were so I mentioned he likes Sailor Moon, right?
Was it a sign saying he's 22 and single?
No. So I mentioned like Sailor Moon, right?
Yeah.
So he has a Sailor Moon poster he had in his room where had Sailor Moon herself on it, and then Chibi Usa, which is like, you know, a little kid basically, right?
Yeah.
And he claimed he would look at this poster every night to remind himself that he was straight. Now, I don't know if you know anything about Sailor Moon, but Usagi, the main character, Sailor Moon herself,
Yeah.
she's 14.
Yeah. I always thought that was weird that it was. I thought she was sent secondary school.
In middle school. Middle school. Yeah, she's 14, and then you have this like Chibiusa next to her on the poster, and like that's definitely a kid. And it's so yeah, already off to a fantastic start there, right? Looking at his poster, remind yourself he's straight every night, as you all. I'm sure all men do that. They have to look at their poster every night and remind themselves they're fucking straight.
I think that they made Mercury a lesbian in the new one.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. Although with Sailor Moon, they already have lesbians in there. It's just in the English dub, they in the English dub, they made them cousins, which makes it real awkward when you see some of the scenes involving them, like, being very, touchy-feely. Yeah, they're totally cousins, guys. It's fine. It's fine. But anyway, moving on to the weirdness of Sailor Moon. Point is, he had that poster up in the background behind him. That's supposed to be an indicator, right, that he's lying about being gay. He's holding up an Optimus Prime toy to show his masculinity.
As one does.
Yeah, and a little bit of context for that one, right? He makes a video that's pretty infamous at this point, where it's like, to all, like, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and dudes of all teenagers. And he's talking about, like, this, and it's like this video he wants shown in classrooms for some fucking reason, right? And he's supposed to be talking about, hey, don't be afraid to approach a boy, girls, and boys, yada, 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 like, talking about shit he has no idea about. And one of the things he says in this video, and I swear this is relevant, right? He brings up the My Little Pony toy and a Transformer, and he's like, now boys, go buy yourself a My Little Pony doll and, like, stroke its hair and, like, embrace the femininity of it, and girls, like, buy it up, like, buy this fucking Transformer toy and then, like, be, accept masculinity and shit like that. Like, I shit you not, this is the video, right? So he obviously holds, like, My Little Pony dolls as, like, the paragon of femininity, and the same for Transformers, except it's, masculine. Yeah. So when he's holding this little Optimus Prime, doll in this video, it's supposed to be an indicator of masculinity, and first-time viewers are not gonna fucking even understand where the fuck that comes from if they haven't seen the video,
Yeah.
And even then, it's like, who the fuck is gonna guess that, right? But then the final nail in the coffin, so to speak, right? The final thing that shows that he's not being true and honest is he's not wearing his Sonitude medallion, which means he is being dishonest.
Because I only wear that when I'm telling the truth.
Exactly, apparently. So these are the three things that apparently he put in the video just to make people see that, no, I'm not really a homosexual, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. It's all because of the trolls. I'm straight, guys. Damn it, I'm fucking straight. Look at my Sailor Moon poster that I stare at every night. But yeah, he felt the need to fucking post a video immediately afterwards, fearing that people weren't going to see the signs. And when I say immediately, I mean pretty close after he uploaded the first one, which kind of negates the whole reason why he would be uploading it in the first place, to get his PSN account back.
Yeah.
That's how much Chris just did not want to say that he was gay. He called himself a Gabian. He put 3 signs in his video to indicate, I am straight, damn it. And then uploaded a video afterwards explaining all the reasons why the video is fake and gay.
And then became Christine.
Yeah, and then years later became Christine, which is just fucking hilarious. But obviously this did not placate the troll at all, and so he had to do it again. And he ended up doing it again, and he didn't call himself a Gabian, but he did go I'm gay. That's right, guys, I'm gay. And it kept going from there for a little bit, but it's just, that's one of my favorite things to come out of just the whole Chris thing. It's him ironically being okay, how do I get out of calling myself gay? Coming up with calling himself a Gabian, and then having these 3 signs in his video to indicate, nah, I'm straight, guys, trust me. It's so fucking ridiculous.
Okay.
But so Chris, and just it just really shows that yeah, he will do what you want, but not in the way you expect it.
Yeah. Well, we are getting at almost 2 hours. We're hour and 50.
All right.
I will see if I can plan ahead next week. And either, depending on if we can get the people up for it, we'll try not to make it as crowded as last week, but we'll try and see about at least having at least Camel in. And then...
so you want to continue the discussion, I'm hearing.
Yeah, and see if there's anything that we are missing.
Oh, God.
Because...
to be honest, at this part, it's kind of just like whatever the fuck you really want.
Now, so
it really is, because like why I did the whole thing last week, right? Of just trying to establish like a beginning base. It's just so you can do it like this afterwards. Because if you don't understand, right? If you don't have like the foundation, it becomes very difficult to understand why Chris would do some of these things.
Yeah,
especially since some of it comes back later on anyway.
Well, and there's a couple things that I've stumbled upon that may need a bit of explanation, but
fair enough.
Yeah, we'll see when that time comes.
All right.
But yeah, do you have anything coming up?
Not that I know of. I have commissions open if anyone is interested in that. So.
All right. Yeah, you want to put those in the. I had your store somewhere.
Yeah. If you go to my Twitter, it's pretty much pinned, so, you know, if you want to have a look, go ahead. But, yeah.
She has done the picture, as you see here, of myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, I have.
But, yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll see what next week brings us. And
all right.
With that, the zoo is closed. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.